have a new friend here.
Hello,
This is Whitney,
Widnise.
and Whitney lives in Miami. So,
Yes.
okay, shout out to the 305 on All Things Black today. All right, so me and Whitney will be talking about colorism today. So,
Yeah.
our first question is, what does the word colorism mean to you?
To me, the word colorism means against someone's skin type, against their color of their skin. To me, it means like people want to outcast them because of the way their skin color is. That's what it means to me.
Okay. What are some examples of colorism?
Some examples of colorism is like basically when a guy has a preference in rather dating dark skinned girls, he'd rather date a light skinned girl or a girl who's a lighter tone than girls who are darker toned. Girls who are brown, and that's really it, honestly.
Okay. Why do you believe people have negative attitudes about dark skin?
Because they feel like girls who are dark skinned aren't beautiful. They feel like, oh, well, you look, sorry to use this, but they say like you look burnt or something like that. They say that your skin isn't pretty, it looks crusty and all that stuff. It's just like, why would you think that? Like, we're made like regardless of my skin tone, it doesn't mean like it's a flaw. It doesn't mean I should be outcasted because of the way my skin tone is, the way the darker my skin tone is. I'm just another human being, but my skin tone is darker and it's rich in color, and it means I have a lot of melanin. So
Right. Okay. Yes. So, what role do you believe traditional media has in perpetuating colorist stereotypes?
um So I would say the media, whenever a rapper or a music artist puts out a music video, you mostly see light skinned girls or white girls or Hispanic girls. But you rarely see a dark skinned woman. And if you do, they're probably in the background and the camera pans off to them and you go see like a lighter skinned girl or a girl who is like, more lighter than the usual dark skinned girl. They use them more as a front, like they put them up front saying like this is the type of woman like you should be getting with, this is the type of woman that the media is trying to portray, that is the prettiest skin tone and everything. And then like you see
Exactly.
the dark skin girls are in the back, like they're not getting any like video time or anything, they're just
Right.
standing off the back.
Right. I completely agree. Also, with like music videos, when um, it's the object of the affection is always like a foreign woman. Like
Yeah,
I watching one Migos video one time, and it was a lady. She was not black. She was like,
yeah,
I don't know what ethnicity she was, but she wasn't black. And they were all fawning over her. So it's
yeah,
four of them. So they were all. She was the object of all of their affection, and I was
yeah.
like, wow. Like,
Can we use like a black girl this
yeah,
time?
can
Can we
we
use a
use a
dark
black
skin
girl
girl?
yeah, a dark skinned girl to
Yeah,
do, because I rarely do you see that.
yeah. No, it's growing up watching like early 2000 music videos and all that stuff, you would see like there was some artists that you would see they use dark skinned girls,
Right.
but it's like for a split second and it's like, oh, okay, there's a dark skinned girl, but then the camera just goes to a light skinned girl, and there's not like they're like all women are beautiful, like
Yeah,
all
I
shades
mean,
of color are
it's not
beautiful.
saying there's anything
Yeah,
light skinned women. It's just saying the representation.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, why, how come dark skinned girls don't get as much attention as the other skin tone girls,
Right.
you know?
Exactly. Exactly. A lot of people, if you say something about this, they think you're, bashing light skin.
Yeah,
It's not bashing light skin. It's saying why is there no dark skin as well?
yeah. How come like we're not being, how come we're not being put there on the spotlight also? Because
Right.
sometimes when we're in the spotlight, it's because people are commenting about our skin color or degrading us because of our skin color. It's nothing really ever positive half the time. And
Exactly.
it's like, okay, so can you guys say something nice about us dark skin girls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So, what role do you believe colorism plays in dating and marriage?
Mm. So dating and marriage, in dating, I know some guys have preference. I know all guys have preferences. Um, and walking down the street, especially in Miami, you see a lot of guys with, other skin type girls. Um, and I mean, like, it's not to say like they don't like the dark skinned women. I just feel like they like the whole idea of like, okay, they need to grow with curly hair, smooth skin, pretty eyes and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, sometimes they go with the Spanish girls. They're like, oh, I like me a Spanish mommy, because she has the curly hair. They like all of that stuff, and they'll go with the light skinned girls because they feel like, oh, their skin is way more prettier and all that stuff. And then you'll see some guys with dark skinned girls. Um, and they choose that. They choose more the lighter skin girls more than the darker skin girls because they feel like they're embarrassed to be with them. I've had one guy. I asked him one time. I was like, "Hey, why don't you ever date like dark skin girl?" He's like, I'm too embarrassed to be walking with that type of girl because my homeboys would rank me like talking about something like basically joke with him like, "Oh, why are you dating like a dark skin girl? Like she's not all that cute." And it's like, why do you care what other people think? Like it's your preference. You like her for who she is. Um, honestly, I say that because I've been in that type of situation also. Okay, so I was saying that yeah, basically some guys they're
Very.
pretty choosy about who they want to marry. Sometimes I don't really think sometimes um I'm not gonna say it's this color of their skin sometimes because like the way they feel about the person. But if like some people who actually do go that far as to like they don't want to marry a dark skinned woman
Yeah.
because they want their kids some guy like they want their kids to turn out
Like,
mixed light skin with the good hair and all that stuff. And it's like, what does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with love? You know, because you love who you love. The skin color should not affect your emotion towards somebody. If that is how it is, then in the future, then it's gonna be crazy because if you're telling me that because you want your kids to turn out mixed, light skin, and all that stuff, looking like the upfront child that they want to be the poster child, then you're far gone than I thought you were.
yeah, and a lot of people are far gone. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I know there was this controversy where like this YouTube couple,
yes.
apparently, yeah, they wanted their daughter. They thought their
Family.
daughter was gonna have pretty eyes
Yeah,
because I'm like, what do you mean pretty eyes?
yeah, the Prince family.
Yeah,
It's
them.
like her
Yeah.
skin.
hmm And it's like, what is that? What does that have to do with anything? If this is your child, you should love them regardless if they don't have the eyes that you expected them to have.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
And that's real life because I know someone
hmm
personally who acts like disappointed about their child's um,
Yeah.
skin, basically. Yeah.
Which is crazy because it's that's you made that. So if you're upset about what your child looks like, then you should be upset about what you look like then because you're just trying to say
Yeah.
that you don't look good. You're just trying to say that you messed up when you should love your child regardless of what skin color comes out. It does not matter about skin color.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Okay. And yeah, so I feel like a lot of people do date based on what they want their child to look like.
hmm
While I was doing my study, a lot of the people in there were saying, a lot of the people were saying, they prefer lighter women because basically they want a light baby or they
Yeah.
want a pretty baby or they want a baby with good hair.
Yeah.
So,
Good hair.
yeah, so they're dating based on them wanting their baby to have this certain look. They're also attracted to that certain look as well. So
Yeah.
it's a little,
It's like you doing too much. You putting in too much work and for something like that. Like honestly, what God is going to give you, that's it. Just take it. Like it does not matter because to actually think that I hope people don't do this, but like they would actually feel like they have to throw away their child or like abandon their child because of the way they look. And it's like, come on now. It's your child. You can't do that because they came out dark skinned, because they came out, with just brown eyes, not light eyes. Like,
right. Yeah, that's scary. That's
yeah.
scary. And I read this statistic about um, darker skinned children being like less likely to be adopted. So
Mm,
you think about like, why, like what? Not saying that that's exactly what the reason is, but like you just have to. It makes you wonder.
yeah,
Like,
it makes you wonder like do
it's
people really like because this child is dark skinned, they're not gonna adopt them? Like A child needs a home. Their
Yeah.
skin color shouldn't affect that. Like, and it's
Right.
crazy that that's how the world works. That it's based on your skin color, based on your hair type, and all that stuff. And like for the hair type, people with like coarse, thick hair, it's like, oh, you got that type of hair. You don't look. You probably not foreign. You're just black, black. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm just black, black? I could be mixed with something and my hair is still coarse. It doesn't matter, you
Right.
know. That shouldn't discriminate me from having good hair, fine hair. It's they're the same. It does the same thing as everybody. It's just regular hair. It just grows. That's it.
Right. Right. But a lot of times, black is not enough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you believe is the difference between colorism and preference?
Colorism and preference. I would say preference is what you would rather have. Would you rather have like a guy would rather like a female also would rather have a guy with curly hair, you know, um, light skinned, toned, tall, worked out. Colorism is if they're that skin color, I don't want to date them. Period. Can't tell me you can't tell me nothing to change my mind. Preference is like what they have their mind set to, and colorism is like, all right, if they're this skin, if they're that, if that's their skin tone, if that's what they are, I don't want it because I'm not. That's not the type of people I date.
Hmm.
That's to me. That's what it means to me.
Okay. So, if you met a guy and he was like, and you were talking to him, and he told you
Mhm.
his preference was light skin, would you
Mhm.
continue to talk to him, or would you feel any different about him, or would that make you be like at all, or would you still be like,
I would
okay,
honestly, I would be like,
yeah,
what?
'cause-
I'm like,
yeah,
what is that how you go out with? Is that how like you talk to girls like, oh, you would rather date a light skin? Hmm. I think I would, I would not say freak out, but I would give him my my 2 cents, and be like, listen, if I'm not enough for you, go ahead and find yourself a light skinned girl, and I bet you they will not treat you the same way that I'm treating you right now,
yeah,
because you, come on now, go,
yeah.
anyway,
Because all right, I'm just asking because
yeah,
I just because I understand people can have that preference,
hmm
but if they said that to me, I just don't think there would be any more like
there's no point in going on with the conversation.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like if that's what you prefer, then to me all I hear is you don't prefer me. So
yeah, you don't want me, so
right,
me is gonna go away. I'm
yeah,
out. You ain't got
right,
to worry about me no more.
yeah,
I take
that's
my
how
dark skin somewhere else where somebody appreciates it.
I okay, yeah,
Period.
I agree. But I guess I don't know. I just most of the time when people have light skin preferences,
Hmm.
like there's colorism behind it.
Yeah,
Now, I feel like sometimes when people have dark skin preferences, there's usually more reasons that are like reasonable. Like
yeah,
they say, my dad's dark skin, so I like dark skinned men, or I'm dark skinned, so I think a dark skinned man can relate to me better, or whatever,
hmm,
something like that. But like with men, they're like, oh, well, even women. So
yeah,
people who prefer women, I would say, they say stuff like, oh, they're just prettier. Oh, they're just not, they don't do too much. So it's
yeah,
like, you really just have to do the work and find out why you prefer this certain skin tone. And that might reveal to you that you are indeed being colors.
yeah.
So, yeah.
That, ugh.
Yeah.
And
You
it's
got to
crazy
do work.
because it's like we always think it's the guys that do it. It's also women too,
It
because
most
it's
definitely.
because when they go out to the club and they're like, "Ooh, girl, I'm trying to find me a guy tonight," and they're not looking at the dark skinned guy, they're looking at the lighter guys or whoever they find out there, and they thinking, "All right, he got money," and it's so crazy because like some women think because your skin tone is lighter, you have money, and it's like
So in Miami, do women prefer lighter men?
I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but the way I see it, yeah, I see it like that.
That
That's how
makes
I see
sense.
it.
That makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes okay. All right.
It,
So, oh no, actually, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah. And it's not like, oh, I'm basing it off of one person. It's like
Oh,
I've
no.
been And I've been in the Miami Beach area. I've been in the spots where it's like always hot and where everybody's at, and you mostly see women with lighter skinned guys. And this, I'm not saying like it's rare. Like I'm not saying like you never see a woman with like a dark skin guy, but like it's rare, honestly.
I mean, honestly, when you think about like how Miami is, or like the
Mhm.
idea of Miami, it's
Yeah,
probably it's a lot more like I feel like it would be more people will be more looking towards like the European standard there.
yeah,
Like
hmm
it's more. I feel like
Hispanic.
my yeah. I
Yeah,
feel like there's a
Hispanic.
Miami like
Mhm.
look, so it makes sense because like
Yeah,
I find that a lot of most women prefer like darker men because they think
hmm
darker men are more masculine, etc.
yeah,
But I have heard from places like California and now
hmm
like Miami that the women down there are preferring
lighter
um,
men.
lighter tone men and Hispanic men specifically. I heard
Hmm
that about California as well.
Yeah,
So that's interesting. Okay.
that's
Hmm.
how
Okay.
it is.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Hmm. Okay. So so there are the Hispanic men interested in darker skinned women?
Yeah. From my point of view, yeah. When I go out with my friends, and some of my friends are like mixed in variations. Like my friends are mixed in colors.
Yeah.
Um, but you would always see the Hispanic guys always, try to holler at the dark skinned girls.
Okay.
Like they be like, "Ew, mommy, like chocolate." No, they're saying chocolate in Spanish and all that stuff, and I'm like, okay. And it's but it's I'm like, yeah, they do, because they're very outgoing too. When they see a dark skinned woman, they're like grab, especially when you go out to like a Spanish club, they're always grabbing you and always wanting to dance with you and all that stuff.
Do you believe that colorism is like institutionalized? Do you think it affects like the criminal justice system, people's socioeconomic status, etc.?
Honestly, yes. Um, because the way it is, honestly, when police officers see any black, I mean, I see like I say it as this. I like say when police officer sees any black person,
Yeah.
it's like they're dangerous. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if they. I don't think an officer sees like light skin, dark skin. I think they just see black. Period. Um, I think they're like, okay, I'm afraid of this person. This person, they know the type of people we are, the type of stereotypes that
Right.
fall under a black person. And they're like, okay, my first instinct is to tell them to put their hands up, shoot, whatever. And it's like, and in society, it's like, why? Just because my skin color is different than yours, why do you feel like I'm a threat to you? Why do you feel like because of my skin color, why do you feel like I'm going to harm you or anything, when in reality you're the one who wants to harm me? And I
Right.
feel like now it's like, after, like, with the whole Black Lives Matter thing, it takes a great toll on the whole community, because it doesn't they don't split it up into, okay, light skinned person not getting killed, it's the dark skinned people getting killed. No, it's like all black people are getting killed, regardless of your skin color, regardless of your background or anything. And it's like also ethnicities too. Other ethnicities are getting the same thing too. But I don't think when it comes to that whole thing, I don't think it's like, okay, because you're dark skinned, because you're light skinned, because you're Hispanic or anything. I think it's just because they feel threatened because of the
Yeah.
stereotypes that they hear about people, about other races.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have any personal experiences with colorism?
Oh, yes. If I could write a book about it, I would say starting in middle school, because in elementary school it wasn't really that serious. You would have, the white girls invite their white friends to little sleepovers and all that stuff. For example, I remember in elementary school I had this one classmate. She invited everyone to her birthday party, and when I mean everyone, all the white kids. I went to a predominantly white school, like white elementary school, um, and you and with Jewish kids also, and some black kids and Hispanic, and she didn't invite the like the Hispanic girls, some of the black girls, and that's it. And I went up to her and I was like, hey, you didn't invite us. And she was like, well, I don't have to invite you if I don't want to. And I was like, well, you're racist. And she was like, no, I'm not. And she went home crying to her parents, telling her. Then I guess her parents came back to the school the next day, wanting to meet with my parents, saying that, oh, she's not racist and all that stuff. And in my eyes, I'm like, well, then how come we weren't invited? What do you have against us?
Yeah,
Like,
you
why?
invited all the white kids. What does that say?
Yeah, you invited, like, you don't, like, her parents don't think, they don't put one and two together. Like, she invited all the white girls, but not the other girls, like, not like dark, like, not the black girls or the Hispanic girls. And we're the other ones. We're looking over here like puzzled, like, how come we didn't get an invitation? And the thing is, like, she made the announcement in front of the classroom, like, oh, you're invited, you're invited, you're invited.
Well,
But then,
you wanted the attention, sweetheart.
yeah, you
Okay.
wanted the attention. So guess what, sis? I gave you the attention that you was looking for, and you did.
Exactly.
So that's it. But other than that, in middle school, other than that in elementary school, that's the only thing I went through. But in middle school, it was tough. Because I was always getting bullied because of my skin color. And the crazy thing is, it was from other dark skinned girls too, and other dark skinned guys, and of course, like, the light skin and other people too. But in my head, I would question, like, why, because it was never a problem like this in elementary school. um and it's and sometimes I would try to build up my confidence, but ever since that, like, it happened throughout middle school. As I got older and as puberty took place, you're forming into a woman, but that's still in my mind, even though I was getting compliments sometimes, it still didn't erase the fact that people were still bullying me because of my skin color. At one point I wanted to switch schools because I thought if I switched schools it would be better. But my mom was like, you can't go in life thinking you can escape your problems, because either way it's going to come at you, from any aspect. And even though I did not want to hear what she was telling me, I was like, please, I just want to switch schools. But I didn't end up switching schools, so I just stayed there. And the crazy thing is, it was people I was calling my friends, like people who I called friends also, who were bullying me too, calling me blackie, burnt, stay out of the sun. And, I would laugh it off, because at that point I was like, I've heard it all before. What's next? What's new? What is it that you're going to tell me that I haven't heard already? Um, because of that, I grew up thinking I was never beautiful. I was never going to be beautiful. I would never believe the guys who would want to date me, because I just felt like they just wanted to, just to get with me, just to have sex. But that never happened. I never allowed myself to be in that type of position. I was always closed off, and I always choose my friends wisely. I have friends from middle school who I'm still friends with today, who never ever talked about my skin color, who never ever made fun of my skin color. Um, and I wish, like, I could go back in time and make and like stand up for myself, because as I'm getting older, I have people telling me, even though I'm not looking for validation from anyone, because the only validation I need is the one from God and myself, because I have to love myself before I let anybody else say that they love me and all that stuff. And I love, like, my parents, I know they love me, but I wish I could go back in time and just speak to my younger self and be like, listen, you're beautiful, you're going to grow up to be a remarkable woman. Your skin color does not define your beauty at all. It doesn't mean like you're not beautiful. It's your skin color. It just means you have a rich skin tone. um I was never the type to get any type of acne, so I was like, I'm not getting bullied for my acne. I don't have acne. I was just getting bullied because I was dark. And it was just so annoying, because like every day it's the same thing. It's like they weren't coming up with new jokes. It's like, oh, Widnise, you're black as hell. You're black. You're like, it means you don't bathe and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm a very clean person, but because of my dark skin, I at one point I hated my skin color. At one point, um, like, my family's from Haiti. At one point, every time my cousin would come home, I would ask her, hey, in Haiti, would you buy some lighting cream and bring them over so I can use them to get my skin lighter? But with me not being consistent with that type of stuff, I would just put it off. Like, I would never, I would start it for a whole week and then just stop using it. But I'm so grateful that I never continued using that, because I see how lighting creams work and the effect it has on people's skin, and it is not pretty at all. It is not, and I'm glad that I've learned to love my skin color. And anybody who ever feels like they could disrespect me because of my skin tone, I put them in check. I never let them finish a sentence, because you're not going to tell me that that my skin is not beautiful, because it is. People stop me in the middle of the street. People stop me at work to tell me, "Oh my gosh, your skin color is gorgeous." And not to put any light skinned women down, not to put any other skin color down, but they would always like, I don't hear any compliment going towards them. It's always me and other dark skinned women. And it's like I feel like they do that because they need to let us know, because they I feel like they know the things that we've been going through. I feel like they know that because we're dark skinned, we've probably been thrown in the fire and all that stuff, like people bashing us because of our skin tone. And it's like like I'm so grateful to have people in my life that has actually been telling me, Winnie, you're beautiful regardless. It does not matter because of your skin tone. Your skin tone is just a part of you. And I've learned to love that. I've learned to take care of my skin. I've learned to never buy a lighting cream and telling myself I need to get lighter, because my skin tone is my skin tone, and I got my skin tone from my parents. And I hope whatever color my kids come out, I will still love them, because I'm not gonna be like, oh man, I wish my daughter was dark. No, whatever skin tone my child comes out, I'll be happy with it because it does not matter to me. Skin color never mattered to me ever in the first place. Yeah, I know, cause and it's some girls from my church, like I always tell them they're beautiful, because and every other girl I tell them they're beautiful, but I always take the extra mile to tell the dark skinned girls they're beautiful, because I feel like I know what they're going through, and I know it hurts. And I know some girls they feel like they're not pretty because of their skin tone, and I'm like, listen, you are beautiful the way you are. Okay, God took time on you to make you. You are the way you are because of what God wanted you to be. So do not ever think for a second that you're not beautiful. Ever. You are beautiful regardless of your skin tone. Because people are so ignorant to think that skin tone is what makes society. It does not make society at all. Your skin tone does not define the type of person you'll be in the future. It doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you find that it's lessened since you've gotten older? How old are you?
I'm 21.
Oh. Do you find that it's since you've gotten older?
Mm-hmm.
The
What do you mean?
Like, do you feel like people are less? I mean, I'm sure you don't get, or I can't say I'm sure. You probably don't get like outright bullied anymore. But do you by people since you're older? But do you
Mm-hmm.
find that you get less negative comments now about
Yeah.
your, or do
Um,
you receive negative comments or?
I get, I barely get comments
Okay.
ever. Um, as I got older, I was getting positive comments.
Oh,
Because as I got out of high school and I was into the real world, I got a lot of positive comments. None, nothing too, nothing too rambunctious, like, oh, you a chocolate, you a fine piece of chocolate, and other stuff. I'm always getting that from older guys, of course, from older guys. And whenever they say that, I'm like, okay, I am not a candy. I am not a candy bar. Please stop. Just if you're gonna say my skin tone is pretty, just be like, you're a beautiful black woman. That's it. Just say that. Just say that. But as I got older, and got into the real world of actual adults who are actually adults, not kids,
yeah.
I got better. I was getting a lot of beautiful comments about my skin tone. Um, I don't remember the last time I got a negative comment about my skin tone. I cannot remember the last time. Ever since leaving high school, I cannot remember the last time I got a negative comment about my skin tone.
Okay. All right. And so our last two questions are: who is responsible for breaking the cycle of colorism, and do you think it'll ever end?
Um, who is responsible of breaking? Like, what do you mean? Like who? Like as
Like, would you
celebrity?
say black celebrities, black
Oh,
women,
okay.
black people?
Um, honestly, I would say I looked up. I'm not. I don't read that much about her, but Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah.
Seeing her, Viola Davis. It's a whole bunch of women that I see as that who are dark skinned, actresses. Um, I see them a lot, and when I see them up on stage, and in my head, I'm like, wow. Um, those women have the same skin color type as me, and they're being praised for that. They're being praised because they love who they are. And another thing is when Beyonce came out with her album, I think it was Flawless,
Um,
and that what was it? It was one song where she had I think it was um a feminist activist. She was saying, she was in the background talking. Um,
Oh, flawless. Yeah.
yeah. um, that also, because when I was listening to that, it made me realize, not for the feminist part, of course, feminist part, all the way. But it made me realize that the world has a problem thinking that my skin tone is not what it's supposed to be, and us as women, we have to stand up for that, because we have little girls who are growing up in this society who will think that, because now it's like right there up in their face. Before, not as it was not as shown off as it is now. um and I feel like the people who can end it is us black women, is
Yeah.
us dark, is us, and we have to make it known that my skin tone does not define the type of person I'm going to be. Does not define, doesn't mean that I'm not going to be beautiful, because we have to stand up. Nobody else can do it for us. We have to do it on our own. And I feel like the people who can change it is us. Um, because honestly, that's who, because since we've experienced it, since we know how it is, I feel like we have, it's us as our responsibility. That's something that we have to change ourselves. Celebrities can have their input also, because they've probably gone through that also, but I feel like we have to step up and be like, okay, we're not standing for this anymore. This is not how it's going to be anymore, because we're putting our foot down. Men, you have to understand, just because she's light skinned, just because she's Hispanic and all that stuff, does not mean that she is the eye candy of the world. That does not mean anything at all. you know
Yeah.
um I'm a woman. We do the same thing all women do. We reproduce, we take care of each other, we take care of our men, we love all that stuff. Just because our skin tone is different does not make us different.
Right.
Does not make us different at all. And we as women have to stand up, come together, and stop bashing each other, and come together as one to let people know that. Because until we do that, then people are just gonna still, like, they're gonna keep continuing the same way that they are.
Right. Do you think it'll ever end?
Huh?
Do you think it'll ever end?
Honestly, it'll end one day, but as for right now, I don't think it is.
No.
Um, I don't think it is. I don't, because he like the like it's still, you still see it in music videos, you still see it in movies, you still see it on television shows. You get the common black dad. It doesn't matter what
And
skin tone,
light skin
because
white.
with the light skinned wife. And I didn't even know. I learned about this like a couple years ago. I didn't even know, like, when I used to watch the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, I was like, why did they switch
Dark skin on Viv.
Aunt Viv to light skin Aunt
They said
Viv? And
dark
I'm like,
skin on Viv had a bad attitude. Of
yeah,
course she did.
yeah, like dark skinned women are so ratchet.
Yeah, of
No,
course she did.
no, we're
Of
not.
course she
Like,
did.
no, do not put us in that pool. Do not put us
Exactly.
in that pool. All when, like, it does not matter. Like, she was a wonderful actress. She's a beautiful
Right.
actress.
Right.
Um, and so I think that the only way it'll end is, honestly, if when when we step up to it and be like, look it in the face and be like, no more.
Okay, Winnie. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was nice meeting you.
It was nice meeting you. This is Sean and Widnise. Thank you for watching our episode of All Things Love.